Have you heard of juvenile diabetes or know anybody of it? Diabetes is a disease in which the pancreas can no longer produce insulin to the body. According to Mayo Clinic, it is a chronic condition in which the pancreas produces little to no insulin. It occurs in children from birth to age 18, in which they have to prick their finger on a glucometer to figure out the ranges of blood sugars and regulate a new healthy lifestyle, and they would have it for the rest of their lives. Today, there is no cause of why diabetes occurs in children. According to the Endocrine Web, scientists and doctors have no explanation on why children contract this disease. It is said that it is because of genes in past family generations that's passed down to their children, but there's still no explanation as to why it happens. For treating diabetes, you have to inject insulin into the body and prick your finger, so your body reacts the same as if you weren't a diabetic. There are multiple different ways in which you can inject insulin. There are syringes, insulin pens, jet pens, and an insulin pump, and these all work the same way, just different contraptions that children choose according to how comfortable they are and which they can be able to learn and do this themselves. When you're first diagnosed, most doctors recommend you use syringes so you have a better learning experience when figuring out how to calculate the amount of units needed for the insulin injection. Diabetics usually should stick to a certain diet plan. It's not necessarily a strict plan, it's just a plan your doctor recommends you do to maintain healthy blood sugars. It's different for everyone. It just depends on how your activity is and the lifestyle you go through the day. You want to stay use like more natural sugars than processed sugars because diabetics are able to consume those sugars better than they are if they're processed. Doctors recommend that with more exercise, you should have more carbohydrates, and with less exercise, you should have less carbohydrates to maintain those blood sugar levels to keep them from fluctuating so much. An example of what I do is I have insulin pens, and I do what my doctor prefers is 150 minus the blood sugar divided by 50, and that comes up to a decimal number, and then I have a carb to ratio unit that I use, which means per carb I have only a certain amount of units, and then you divide that number and you get another decimal number, and you add those two decimal numbers to figure out the amount of units that I need to inject to be able to go on with most of my daily tasks. Management is very difficult when becoming diabetic because you have to learn a whole new way of living, and it's stressful, but it's not impossible. You have to at least check your fingers 7 to 9 times a day in order to regulate those blood sugars to keep them from going too high or too low. Diabetic Care article says that by checking this many times a day, it helps regulate your blood sugars in order to maintain a healthy lifestyle. When your blood sugar becomes too high, you need to inject more insulin, debating on what your doctor tells you to do on how high your blood sugar is. And when your blood sugar becomes too low, you need to consume more carbohydrates, and usually the best results are to drink some juice because it works faster and helps your body be able to get those blood sugars up in a better rate than it would be if you were to consume a high carb snack. Living with diabetes is difficult, but it's not impossible, and if you just keep managing it in a proper and healthy way and follow your doctor's plans and prick your finger and just do everything possible to keep you healthy, then everything is practically normal. You are just like any other kid who doesn't have it and are able to do most things, but just differently. And maybe one day, doctors, researchers, and scientists might find a cure for diabetes. They've been working on it for several years, but so far there is no cure. So you would have it for the rest of your life, but hopefully there will be one day.